some of the Lewis Carroll packet just so that you have a clear understanding of what is happening. So Lewis Carroll, there is a biography. As far as summarizing what can we infer about why he wrote poetry, after reading the biography, it should be abundantly clear that he was incredibly imaginative and creative, and he wanted to entertain kids. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and read the biography, and then you don't have to use complete sentences, just 2 to 3 bulleted ideas per box. So each box is 1 paragraph. And then go to Beautiful Soup. So Beautiful Soup is a poem that is intended to be sung. Lewis Carroll praises the soup served at dinner time, and this was sung by Mock Turtle in Alice in Wonderland. So something like, beautiful soup, so rich and green, waiting in a hot tureen, who for such dainties would not stoop? Soup of the evening, beautiful soup, soup of the evening, beautiful soup, beautiful soup, beautiful soup, soup of the evening, beautiful, beautiful soup, beautiful soup, who cares for fish, game, or any other dish? Who would not give all else for 2 pennyworth only of beautiful soup, pennyworth only of beautiful soup, beautiful soup, beautiful soup, soup of the evening, beautiful, beautiful soup. Anyways, but you can sing it however you want. We did a Christmas tree with it kind of too. So like, oh, beautiful soup, so rich and green, waiting in a hot tureen, who for such dainties would not stoop? Soup of the evening. You get the idea of it. Anyways, so it's really intended to be humorous. It's intended to be fun. It's intended to be sung in whatever way you think it should be sung. So then let's look at what kind of rhyme is seen in this poem. So in this poem, we see green, terrene. So we see end rhyme, stoop and soup, fish and dish. Okay. What is the author's attitude towards the subject of the poem? Obviously, they really like it. And obviously, it is something that is intended to be humorous, right? And how do we know that? Hopefully you wrote down something like, he's singing a song about soup, right? He's stretching out the words, beautiful soup. Okay. Jabberwocky. Go ahead and read the first stanza to yourself. You're probably wondering what in the world I am making you read, and that's okay, because you know what? For a long time, everyone in the world was wondering what in the world Lewis Carroll had written and was now asking people to read. So he gave Humpty Dumpty the words so that we would know what was happening. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe, all mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome-rass outgrabe. Here's the deal. 'Twas brillig. Well, brillig is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon because that's when you start broiling things for dinner. So 4 in the afternoon. And the slithy, well, slithy is a combination of lithe and slimy. It's a portmanteau. Lithe is like flexible. So it's something it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a flexible, slimy tove. Well, a tove is something like a badger, something like a lizard, and something like a corkscrew. Did gyre and gimble. Well, to gyre and gimble, gyre is like a gyroscope to go around in circles, and gimble, well, that's to make holes in something. In the wabe. Wabe is the grass around a sundial because it goes a ways in every direction. All mimsy is it's a portmanteau for flimsy and miserable, were the borogoves, and the borogoves are birds with long legs that kind of look like a mop. So it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We have slimy, flexible creatures that look like badgers crossed with a lizard crossed with a corkscrew that are spinning around and poking holes in the grass around a sundial. And then now we have these birds that look like mops that are kind of miserable. And the mome, wrasse, outgrabe. Well, wrasse are a sort of green pig, but mome, well, Humpty Dumpty wasn't too sure about that. He thought it was maybe short for from home, meaning they lost their way, you know. And outgrabe is a combination of whistling and bellowing with a sneeze in the middle. Apparently, the present tense of this verb is outgribe, meaning outgribe is the past tense, a little like give and gave. So, you're probably still wondering, what in the world is happening? Well, this, okay? So, here is our, this is a version, and it might not be exactly what you were picturing, and that's absolutely okay. Here's our sundial, and the wave is the grass around it. The toves are something like badgers, something like a lizard, and something like a corkscrew. And then, so we've got a couple of those, and they are going around and poking holes in the grass and spinning around. They're having a grand time. Here's our miserable, flimsy borogoves, the birds that look like mops. And then we have our lost green pigs in the background, the toves. So that's giving us the setting, okay? So right here, you could say, this is the setting, okay? Now, beware the Jabberwock. Let me start from the beginning. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toves, did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome, wrasse, outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the Frumulous Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the maxim foe he sought. So rested he by the Tumtum tree, and stood awhile in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes aflame came whiffling through the togy wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through. The vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went gallumping back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O Frabia, stay! Callooh, callay! He chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toves, did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome, wrasse, outgrabe. So now let's look at each stanza. So what I want you to do first, though, is, I should have had this pulled up already, Jabberwocky Muppets video. I will have it linked with this, so I want you to watch that video, or you can Google it right now. You're going to watch the Muppet Show Jabberwocky, which will help kind of set the scene a little better for you. So, this first stanza, as we've already said, it's the setting. It's telling us where it's happening, okay? It's afternoon, there's these weird creatures, all that kind of stuff. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the Frumulous Bandersnatch. So what's happening here? Pause the video and write down what you think. The dad is warning the son about the Jabberwocky. Okay, stanza 3. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the maxim foe he sought. So rested he by the Tumtum tree, and stood awhile in thought. So what's happening here? Go ahead and pause the video and write down your thoughts. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes aflame came whiffling through the togy wood, and burbled as it came. Pause the video. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through. The vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumping back. So what's happening here? Pause the video. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O Frabia, stay, Callooh, Calais! He chortled in his joy. Pause the video. The dad is celebrating with the son. And then 'twas brillig in the slithy toves, did gyre and gumble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the momras outgrabe. So you should already be identifying that it's a repeat of stanza 1. And the purpose here is to kind of return us back to normal, return to the calm. Okay. So let's look at different kinds of literary devices and figurative language that's happening in this poem. So first of all, we've got this, we want to be looking for end rhyme and internal rhyme. End rhyme is when it happens at the end of the line. Internal rhyme is when it's on the same line. And so we'll see some of that in here. So when we look at the end rhyme, how you want to look for that is just looking at the last word of the line. Toves, wade, borogoves, outgrabe. So we've got toves rhymes with borogoves. And wabe, so we'll say that's our B, rhymes with outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. So here we've got internal rhyme because we have the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. So that is internal rhyme. We also have end rhyme because we have sun and shun and catch and bandersnatch. Okay. He took his vorpal sword in hand, sought, tree, thought. So we've only got sought and thought that rhyme. Here we've got stood, would, flame, came. So we continue with that A, B pattern. One, two, and then we've got through, snicker, snack, head, and back. And so through and snicker, snack, through and head do not rhyme, but snack and back do. So again, we've got the A's. So we'll drag those down here. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, fabulous day, Callooh, Calais, he chortled in his joy. And I apologize, I need to go back. On this one, on this stanza, we have 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and through. So we've got 2 and through that rhyme. And we also have dead and head. Those are both internal rhymes. Okay. Then we've got Jabberwock, boy, Calais, joy. So again, we're only rhyming 2 of those lines on the ends, boy and joy. Okay, and then we've got that AB pattern from the first stanza happening again in the last stanza. Okay, so we've got rhyme. This line right here alone shows us rhythm, rhyme, and repetition. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through. And all of that is coming out of this one line right here. Okay. We also have went snicker snack, and that we will label as, I'll go ahead and change the color of that. We'll label that as an onomatopoeia. Okay. Down here, come to my arms, my beamish boy, oh fabulous day, Callooh, Calais. So here we've got, let me change the color, let's do green. Beamish boy, Callooh, Calais. So hopefully you guys notice at this point, it's got that repetition of the initial consonant sound. So that is alliteration. Okay. So then go on to the next page. What is the setting of this poem? So like, is it real? Is it fantasy? Is it what time of day? All of that kind of stuff. So when and where. So we can say it is afternoon, about 4 p.m. Remember, Brillig, in a forest of a fantasy land or fantasy world, right? The theme here, I think that you could argue a couple different themes easily. One of the themes could be that bravery can overcome evil. You could also say perseverance. Perseverance will help you face your fears. Examples of rhyme. Just simply here we have end rhyme. For example, toves and borogroves. Yeah, it says it doesn't think it's a real word. Well, it is, and we're going to talk about that here in just a moment. In Lewis Carroll's world. And then, whoops, oh man, I lost it. End rhyme, toves, borogroves. It's got that A-B pattern. Okay, we also have internal rhyme, such as, and with its Wait. He says, he left it dead, and with its head, he went galumping back. As for repetition in the poem, the first stanza is repeated to bring the reader back to a sense of calm or normal. So think of it this way, like when you have something really exciting, like a hunting trip happen, then coming back from it, like everything goes back to normal. You cannot just stay at that really heightened state forever. And then the other thing that he uses repetition for is he uses repetition to give parts rhythm. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and through. It gives it that rhythm. Okay, now portmanteaus. Portmanteaus are so much fun. Portmanteaus it's literally a word for a suitcase. So it's two words smushed together where you take part of one word and part of another word, smush them together to give new meaning. So like we all use a portmanteau all the time without even realizing what it is. And we say, oh, let's go have brunch. We all know brunch is not breakfast, but it's not lunch. And so it's this weird time of the day, right? So like slithy, he said, was a combination of slimy plus lithe, which is flexible. Okay. Another portmanteau that he uses in the poem that you may have heard other places is chortled. Chortled is a cross between a chuckle plus a snort. Okay. We have uffish, which is like a gruff voice plus a huffy attitude. Galumping is one that he uses. I spelled that incorrectly. So galumping, I want you to give it a shot. What do you think galumping means? And with its head, he left it dead and went galumping back. So this is like gallop plus triumph. Another one, oh, frabjous day. This is fabulous plus joyous. Mimsy, we said, was miserable plus flexible. You don't have to have all of them, but as many as you can, or as many as you want. Then onomatopoeias, and so here, and he used the vorpal sword, went snicker snack, and with it said, he went galumping back. It burbled as it came. So burbled is an onomatopoeia. And even whiffling is a sound word, okay? So after doing all of this work, now go back to the front page of Lewis Carroll's packet. What is his style of writing like? Well, I think that you can safely say he is very imaginative and writes fantasy stories, and poems. Okay. He uses rhythm, rhyme, and repetition. Some poets really write in a specific form, like they write odes, or they write haikus, or they write limericks, or they write whatever. Anyways, he plays with form. Nothing looks the same for him. Okay, and his style was very much, it was playful and for children. It was directed at children. But he wanted people to use their imaginations. So how does he set himself apart from others? Well, he created portmanteaus, but he uses portmanteau words like brunch, buffish, smog, etc. Okay. One thing that you should have noticed in Beautiful Soup is that he stretches out words with their spelling and punctuation. He also makes up places, creatures, words, etc. It's all very nonsense. And one of the things, especially for his time period, was that he was very contrary to other children's authors at the time, or other authors of children's stories. While other authors were trying to relay rules and tell kids to obey and all that kind of stuff, Lewis Carroll was out there doing his own thing completely, right? Okay, so rewatch the video if you need to, but you should have pretty much everything answered. Some of it you have to do on your own. Please let me know if you have any questions.